Okay, we are live on Facebook. So, welcome to our Wednesday Wellness, where today we're exploring geranium. So, if you've got your geranium essential oil, do have it to hand while you're watching this because we're going to do a journey with geranium as part of this session so that you can really get exploring what the oil wants to do for you right now. So I did a little bit of research at the weekend into geranium, and I was surprised to learn there's actually 700 different varieties of geranium, but only 10 of them have enough of the essential oil in there to make it viable for us to use it as an essential oil. The common garden geranium, like the one in the picture there, produces just too little oil for distillation purposes. And going back in history, in earlier times in England, geraniums were often planted around the house to protect them against evil spirits. They're a really pretty flower, aren't they? And we see them a lot in the summer months in pots in our gardens. Now, the Latin name for the geranium that we've got is, can I pronounce this? Pelargonium graveolens. And it's often known as geranium rose or rose geranium, or sweet scented geranium. And we get the oil from a species that's native to South Africa. And it's a place where it rains quite a lot throughout the year, which is what we need for a geranium plant to thrive. But it also needs the warmth as well, which is why we see them in the summer. Commonly found growing in the mountains in sheltered positions, but in relatively moist habitats. So the name Pelargonium comes from the characteristic shape of the plant's fruit that resembles stalk beads. Pelagos is the Greek word for stalk, and the species name, graveolens, is Latin for strongly scented, and it refers to the highly fragrant leaves. And you'll know if you've got a scented geranium plant that you get the most smell by actually just rubbing the leaf with your fingertips and then smelling your hands. That's where you'll get the smell of the essential oil the most, although there is a little bit in the flower itself. So the essential oil, like I've just said, really accumulates in small glands in the leaves, and there's some in the flower, and we get the essential oil out through a process called steam distillation. It's usually harvested 2 or 3 times a year, and it begins as soon as that plant begins to blossom. The leaves and the stalks are harvested in the morning during the dry, sunny weather, and then distillation begins a couple of hours later after it's had a bit of drying out time. In the perfume industry, geranium is often used as a substitute for rose. As we know, a pure rose is so expensive because of how many petals it takes to produce the essential oil. So often you'll find it swapped out for rose geranium in our perfumes. But we also find it in cosmetics, baked goods, fruit desserts, and you'll often find dried geranium leaves in herbal teas and potpourri. So if you haven't got geranium, just to describe it to you, it's generally a colourless, light or colourless to light green. Let's see what mine is. Yeah, so the ours is quite, it's got that sort of green tint to it. Someone coming in. In its fragrance, it's probably one of the essential oils that I was most drawn to, first of all, on my journey with essential oils. It's got such a lovely fragrance to it. It's very sweet, but floral with that slightly green aspect. And before we came on live, it's interesting because Madeline was saying that sometimes she smells the floralness of it, and then other times it's more the leaves that come through. So you're picking up there on the different aspects to the smell. Some batches have a slight citrus and even spicy fragrance. So sometimes, I guess, depending on the weather of that previous year, the smell can change slightly. And in perfumery, rose geranium is often considered a heart note. It's of a really high intensity with a medium persistence. So it's a good heart healing essential oil. So with our geranium, it does take 25 pounds of foliage to bring 15 mil. So your bottle of essential oil has got 25 pounds of the foliage used. So it's slightly different to rose. We were talking about the difference in price. That's why, but still quite a lot. Historically, the Egyptians and the Romans valued geranium, the herb, for its ability to close open wounds and prevent infection. In Africa, historically, it was used to treat cholera and tumours. And in England, we used it historically to relieve pain associated with broken bones. It's also traditionally been used as an astringent. So an astringent is a chemical that shrinks or constricts body tissues. The leaves also exert antifungal activity, and due to its citronellal content, geranium has insect repelling properties, particularly regarding mosquitoes and head lice. So this is quite nice because a lot of the time the stuff that we use for that purpose doesn't smell very nice. And I remember for the head lice, for example, I used to use tea tree, and the kids hated going to school smelling of tea tree. But if you could add something like geranium to it as well, and that would very much mask that more medicinal smell. And also thinking about as an insect repellent as well, I'd much rather smell of geranium than some of the insect repellent combinations that you can get. So looking in the Advanced Oil Magic book at what this oil could support, we've got liver and kidney support. So you just rub a drop over the liver, which is right hand side, just under the rib cage, going across there, or kidneys, lower back. You can use it for hormone balance and menopausal support. So it's one of the ones I use a lot with women in massage. I like to combine it with grapefruit for this. It's just really calming hormonally for a woman. So a lot of women are drawn to this smell when they have got a bit out of whack hormonally. You can use it to help monthly cramps, just massaged over the area. Or if you are struggling to get pregnant, female reproductive disorders, you can put a drop to the reproductive reflex areas on the feet. And the best thing to do, there's a couple, so the best thing to do is just to Google that if you're thinking of using it in that way, or just get your oil and just massage it gently into the feet. You can use it to stimulate your circulation and the lymphatics. So if you are struggling with a bit of fluid retention, this will be a good one to try. If you're doing a lymphatic massage, you want to do it quite gently. If you're pushing deeply, you've gone through the lymphatic capillaries and you're in the muscle. So if you're trying to drain a swollen area, then it's just more of a stroking movement with some of the geranium and a carrier oil. It also helps with your libido. So if this is something you struggle with, you could use it on your pulse points. And we're going to talk a bit more about skin in a moment because it's very beneficial for the skin and it helps with this production of sebum. So this helps to create a balance if you've got a very oily skin, but it's also beneficial for dry skin, this one. And it's very good for stress-related symptoms. So anxious thoughts, mood swings, really calming, grounding essential oil. So one of the top constituents of geranium is geraniol. And you can see on the right there, the different chemicals that are in our geranium. Egyptian researchers recently published their findings from an experimental non-clinical study that orally ingested geraniol and how it positively affected biochemical pathways in the colon. So these pathways are involved in maintaining the health of colon cells. So it doesn't come as any surprise that we've got geranium in our Zendocrine blend, which is a detoxification blend. So in summary, on a physical level, geranium is going to act as a decongestant, a regulator or a balancer, and a multi-system restorative. In your skincare, I've just sort of touched on this, it's very good for dry, oily and mature skin types. And that's because it's going to balance the production of sebum. It's a skin regenerator, so it can help with skin issues. If you've got redness, pimples, swelling, broken capillaries, fine lines and scarring, then this one's a good one to put in. Put it in with your frankincense. So you make up a little serum of frankincense, geranium, maybe some lavender. That'd be really balancing for the skin. If you've got a skin problem that gives you pain, then the analgesic properties of this oil could help. And it's also beneficial as an antiseptic, antifungal, and for bacterial skin conditions. If you want to use it in your hair, DIY hair protection spray, you'd smell amazing with this. It's so simple to use as well. You're building up a teaspoon of fractionated coconut oil, a tablespoon of sweet almond oil, 2 teaspoons of the doTERRA conditioner, a cup of water in a spray bottle, and then add 5 drops of clary sage and 5 drops of geranium. And you just shake it up and you just spray through the hair before drying to protect the hair itself, and it would smell lovely for the rest of the day. As an insect repellent, you could use equal parts of geranium, lavender, eucalyptus and peppermint, and you could choose to mix it with witch hazel, or I've read a hydrosol of lavender, so a lavender water that you can buy. You can make your own lavender water, and there are recipes online to do that, but it does seem like a bit of a faff, but nice to do if you've got an abundance of lavender in your garden. Emotionally, geranium is the oil of love and trust, so it's the ultimate emotional healer. It helps to restore confidence in the innate goodness of others and in the world. It helps to facilitate a feeling of trust, encourages emotional honesty, love and forgiveness, and aids in healing a broken heart. And when I was creating this presentation, when I got to that part, it was Sunday and the last of our puppies had just left, and I've got way too attached to them, even though I said I wouldn't. And I literally felt like my heart was breaking, and I thought, oh, I was typing this, and so I got my geranium, popped it on the heart, and it really did seem to help. It helps to facilitate the emergence of grief and pain that's been suppressed. So if you've been pushing something down, not wanting to feel it, we know that eventually things that we push down will manifest physically as problems. It's better off just to sit in that moment, feel it and let it flow through. And geranium can really help with this. Helps to open the heart so love can flow freely. Softens any anger and helps with emotional healing, emotional wounds. So it's often described, or I read it described as a sweet embrace for both the mental and emotional body, gently but effectively soothing states of worry, concern, and overthinking. So it can help to energetically cool an overactive mind and diffuse more heated emotional states. So if you've been feeling irritated, frustrated, you've got a bit of jealousy going on, a bit of envy for someone else, it can really help to balance that. It's a gentle oil, so it is perfect for babies and children. But also as adults, it helps to nurture our inner child. It supports you if you've got a difficult time assessing your emotions and takes you away from your logical mind into the warmth of the heart. So in summary, emotionally, geranium heals the heart. It instills unconditional love and fosters trust. A spiritual take on geranium. So rose geranium is our ally in rectifying vital responsiveness and healthy relationships to care, needs and nourishment. So what that means is it actually helps us open up to the fact that we need care and healing too, and it brings that support. It reminds us of our capacity for, I can't ever say that word, so I'm not even going to try, the spiritual principle of giving and receiving, that it's okay to, we're very good at giving, but it's okay to take back as well. And this is about healing our deepening the trust, in our collective trust, our inherent goodness and wants and needs. So in this way, I would consider geranium an essential medicine for guiding us into the truth of divine abundance and aid in the healing of the collective wounds born from a lack of consciousness. So there's something for you to ponder on. So today we're going to use the Quantum Acupoint Conception Vessel 8, which is right in the center of your belly button. And it's known as Spirit Gate. And if we think about what that actually is, that part of the body there, it's actually where we, right from conception, was where we started to get nourished. And we're all talking about nourishment here, self-nourishment. Now, this point in acupuncture is never treated with needles because it would just be way too painful. But an acupuncturist will often use a herb in this point instead. And with essential oils, you can have a really profound impact with this point. So Spirit Gate, we're attached to our mothers at this place. It's the very first place of our nourishment. We receive food directly into our being, which allows our body to form, which, if you think about it, is a really powerful metaphor for nourishment in general and our capacity to be nourished. So it's our point where we can receive, to build, construct, and become. So you can use your geranium. You could have a quite strong dilution with this point. You could have a 50% dilution. Or if you're using it neat, just put a little bit of carrier oil over the area first and then add a drop of geranium. And the way we do it, we're not going to pour the geranium into the belly button. You're going to put a drop on your finger and then just rim it around the navel, so around the belly button. So you're just putting a little bit of the oil on that area and then gently lay your hand over the top of the belly button. And you could just hold it for 1 to 3 minutes while you feel things are shifting. So you can just relax. Once you've put the oil on, you've put your hand over, you can relax and let the oil do its work. So it's bringing in that deeply nourishing and fortifying essential oil into a point that literally nourishes the soul. If you're doing this on someone else, you could you just rim it around and just put your hand over the top. If you're doing it on yourself, you might like to place your finger directly in the belly button itself. And this point is great for caregivers. So if you're somebody that looks after a lot of people, but you're not spending the time on yourself, this can give you the care back mentally and physically, just holding this point. So if you've got your oil, you might want to get it out and just put a bit over this point now, just while I'm talking, but we are going to use it in the meditation in a minute as well. Historically, this point was used for shock. So especially shock from the past that hasn't cleared completely out of your energy body. So it's physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And you could use this point every day to unravel the energy and clear. And combined with geranium, you can hopefully see how it's a really good combination of point and oil. So those of you that are with me now or watching in Facebook, what I want you to do is just to get your geranium if you've got some. And if you haven't already, put a drop on your hand. Rub your hands together. I like to think of this as activating the oil, getting all those molecules bouncing around. And then when you're ready, close your eyes, bring your hands up to your face, and take a few deep breaths. Just centering yourself, getting ready for our journey together with geranium. And tune into the sweetness that this essential oil has in store for us. And then just place your hand on conception vessel 8, so right in the center of the belly button. And if you haven't done so already, just do a little circular motion around the belly button, but then either place your finger inside or just hold your hand over the point. With your eyes closed, calling in the spirit of geranium now. Just asking the plant spirit, the consciousness itself, to move through your entire being. Every piece and every part of you, tuning into and feeling the love. Even your child spirit being caressed so sweetly. So perfectly in the healing vibration of the oil right now. Allowing the energy of geranium rose to make its way right to the heart of any place or space in your experience that is contracted and wound tight. Any little balls of worry within. And if you want to, bringing your hands up to your face, you can take another deep breath of the oil, drawing in the soft, softening energy of geranium. Activating within your experience right now a direct connection to the sweet ease of being that is your true nature. Hearing a whisper from geranium, A little reminder there's nothing missing. A reminder that right here, right now, you're safe. In this right here, right now moment, you're loved. And in this right here, right now moment, you're free. Allowing this healing vibration even deeper now. Transmitting gentle waves. Soothing and calming to the deepest, most contracted parts of the self right now. You may start to feel an unwinding, a spiraling outward, maybe a rocking sensation. Inviting that energy even deeper now. Into places and spaces deep within that you can't grasp with your thinking mind. All that's needed is a simple intention to invite the medicine of geranium. Into the deepest spaces and crevices within. Drawing it down into anywhere that's contracted in fear. Fear for safety, fear for survival, fear for family or loved ones. Just feel the oil coming into each of those places now. And releasing any emotions that you're holding on to there. Feeling that plant medicine moving its way up now into your third eye space. You might like to place your finger on the point yin tang or third eye. Feel it relaxing the mind, opening the space in the mental sphere. Feeling that sweet rocking sensation move its way through your body now. Feeling, knowing, receiving the energy of this sweetest embrace. Feel it soothing all worries, dispelling all doubt, bringing nourishment to the center of your being, the center of your soul. Breathing in, allowing in, noticing the rich nourishment of this oil right now. Being with the essence vibration of the sweet mother, the wise, sweet, nurturing mother. No conditions on the nourishment. No conditions on the sweetness. No conditions on the extension of love to you right now. Just feeling wrapped in this really lovely safe cocoon, this beautiful bubble of protection. Letting yourself lean back a little more into the nourishing embrace. Really letting go now of any burdens you've been carrying, any worries, any heavy emotion. Just letting it drop so naturally. Feeling it falling into the earth for transmutation. Noticing an expansion that comes from a greater space being opened up as you release your burdens. Feeling fully supported now. Simply call in Geranium. Lean back into her energy and ask now if there's anything she would like you to know right now. And just take a moment and see what comes. How can Geranium help you at this time? You might see, feel, or know an exchange of gifts from Geranium to you, from you to Geranium. Just take a minute and allow this very natural exchange. You might feel somewhere on your body where you want to place your hands. And just pop them there now. As you give a moment of gratitude to all that you've experienced today, all that you've felt from this amazing oil. And alongside this, feel the gratitude from my heart to yours for journeying with me today. And take a few deep breaths. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. So that meditation there is one to help to ease this and soften the voice, the dominating voice of the mind, so that your heart can be felt and heard. I will record this as some music if you enjoyed it, so that you can just listen to the meditation with your oil. And before we finish blending, this Geranium blends really well with quite a few different oils. So you've got cypress and cedarwood for a really clearing formula. If you want to feel euphoria, then you can blend it with rose, neroli, or jasmine. If you're not keen on the sweetness of Geranium, then you can notice the change when you blend it with something like bergamot or grapefruit or lemon or mandarin. And it's also a really lovely complement to petitgrain, blue tansy. So those of us that are doing the blue tansy challenge, see how it feels with blue tansy, and ylang ylang. So it's a really versatile oil for blending, and it does quite well with oils that are lemony, green, sweet, or woody. And there on the left there are doTERRA's suggestions of oils that you can blend with your Geranium. So we've got, it's a bit blurry because I've cropped it, but it's juniper berry, blue tansy, ylang ylang, neroli, and clary calm. Well, I hope you enjoyed today. I'm going to come back to the room in a minute just to see how you're getting on and take any questions. We're at the end of March already, and so there's our schedule for April. So if you want to get organized so that you can experience the oils that you're learning about, these are the ones that you're going to need. So next week I'll do the product of the month, whatever that may be. I'll find out with you on the 1st of the month. So we'll be exploring that in bigger deep dive into whatever oil that is next Wednesday at 11. The week after that, 14th, we're going to do an exploration into lime. On the 21st, we'll be working with Litzy. I don't think you can buy Litzy on your account, but hopefully it's one that a lot of you got when we had it as a special a few months ago. And then at the end of the month, we'll be looking at wild orange. So looking at those oils, it's going to be a really fun, uplifting, manifesting month, April. We'll start next week. We'll read through the oil alchemy book for the month as well, so we can see where we are energetically with the planets. So there's the dates and the oils that we'll be covering. And so it's 11 o'clock every week. We do start in the Zoom room for questions. So this bit isn't recorded. So if you've got questions about your oils or you want suggestions from some of us, then do pop in at 11. Then when the questions are finished, we share into Facebook with the presentations. That's why sometimes it starts earlier than others, because we might have more questions. Okay, thank you, everybody. Do you want to unmute and tell me how you're feeling?
It smelled a lot sweeter at the end.
Yeah, so it changed.
It was. I didn't really like it much to start with, but it did improve an awful lot towards the end. I quite liked it in the end.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I love it.
Oh, I really loved it as well. I found it very floral this time, whereas yesterday I found it more kind of, you know, leafy.
Yeah. Interesting.
And the smell changed for me throughout as well. It was quite bitter, it seemed, to start with, but then as you carried on through the meditation, it just all changed, and it just feels wonderful now. So.
Yeah. Oh, good. It's a really nice oil, isn't it? Especially for us women. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Any questions you'd like to ask about geranium, about manifesting, about meditating with the oils, or something else that's going on for you?
I still struggle to meditate.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you struggle with?
I don't know. I try and call my mind back, but then it's like, if I do manage to do that, it's like everything's empty, that I don't actually get anything. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, I mean, it is a practice that gets easier the more you do it. When I first started meditating, I remember going to a group and I sat there and they were all seeing these amazing things, and I thought, well, all I see is darkness. But that's because I was looking with my eyes at the back of my eyelids. Whereas with meditating, the trick is to just sink into your imagination. So you could start, and the more you do it, the easier that becomes. Suddenly your brain learns what you're wanting it to do. But even if you've just got a few minutes and you could sit quietly and just imagine where you went on holiday once, or it's something really simple like your car, your front door, something you know really well. And then you're learning which part of the mind we're using for meditation. And once you've got that, then you open up and relax, and then the answers start to come. So,
okay. Yeah.
So it's just practice.
Thank you.
And also, some people never really see much, you know, they're just not visual people, but you'll start to think, well, what is my dominant sense? Am I hearing? And it's not an external hearing, it's more of a thought that is coming into your mind. That might be your most dominant sense.
Okay.
So it's just learning how you are.
Okay, thank you.
Don't give up though. Meditation's so beneficial. Even if it's just 5 minutes a day, it really is for your health. It's so beneficial.
No, brilliant. Thank you.
Hi Debbie.
Hi Karen.
Hi, I'm not camera ready, so
that's all right.
Can I make a suggestion? Because the clients that I work with, especially when I'm dealing with mental health and I take them through meditation, I often ask the person in that moment, if that's okay, to describe something they really love. So I wanted to ask Elaine, what is it you love doing during the day, or something, that's a ritual that you do? And if you can just describe it to us with your eyes closed, you'll see that you're visualizing whatever you're doing in that moment. And that is how I take people into meditation, if you sort of mean. So it's like,
right. Yeah.
So what is it that you really love doing, or you enjoy doing, even if it's making a cup of tea, or even going into your home and it's after a long day and you're actually putting the key in the door? Could you describe just something, just a little something, so we can actually join you with that, and then you're invoking all of your senses. So what does it look like? What does it smell like when you sit down in the chair? That sort of thing.
Okay.
Just 2 minutes, if that's okay, Debbie.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, if Elaine's happy to. We're all learning together.
Right, okay. I love it when I open my eyes in the morning and I imagine the trees outside. At the moment, they still haven't got their leaves on. And then I am always grateful that another new day is beginning. I have that privilege. And then I've been doing I still continue to do that, the breathing. I do it with peppermint oil mainly because it livens you up. So I take my bottle of peppermint oil and I tip a couple of drops onto my palms, and then I rub my hands together and activate the oil, and then I put it up to my face and I breathe in. I do 2 lots. I do the breathe in for 4, hold for 4, let out for 4, and then hold for 4. And then I also do the breathe in for 5, hold for 7, let out for 8. And as I do it, I move my hands up just so that I feel really energized, and then I get out of bed and should then be energized and motivated to continue with my day.
Beautiful. The bed, and you put your, you know, like when you get out of bed and you put your feet on the ground.
Yeah.
How does it feel under your feet?
How does it feel under my feet? It feels nice. I try and imagine that I'm actually on the grass or the earth, and I can feel my feet burying into the ground, and I try and put my roots through.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. So when you so as Debbie says, your imagination, our imaginations are the most powerful things that we have. And so when you're invoking or engaging with your imagination, engage all of your senses. That's why I asked you the question about how you feel. So another question I would have asked you is that when you're inhaling the peppermint, how does it feel when it goes in your nostrils? How does it feel when it goes into your chest? That's when you're really engaging all of your senses, and then you'll find that your meditation will become much easier. You go off quicker within seconds because you are actually engaging all of that. And so when Debbie's doing her meditations, I'm off with her. Lying with her, I'm doing all those things because I practice that all the time. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Oh, thank you ever so much for that. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. That was really good. Yeah, it's good when I'm starting with people with meditation groups. You do sort of take longer to get into the meditation, so you've got more time. Yeah, but no, that was really good, Karen. So hopefully that will help you, Elaine, next time.
Thank you. Yes,
and keep practicing.
I will.
Okay, everybody else, anyone else got anything they want to share or any questions they want to ask? No. Okay.
I just wanted to share, sorry, about my usage with geranium. I love it in a spray bottle for a toner with some frankincense. And I had the doTERRA toner, and I kind of switch it up with my homemade one. And I put it in a spray bottle, which I like. And then I use a rose quartz roller on it. And I find it's really nice for my skin. And in the morning, it's really, you know, like it starts my morning in a great way.
Yeah.
So I definitely recommend it for skincare.
Yeah, that is a beautiful oil. We'll be having them all, blue tansy with geranium, with frankincense.
That's it.
Okay.
People won't notice I'm getting older.
We're fighting it.
That's it.
Okay, well, thanks everyone for joining me this morning. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you next week for the products of the month, whatever that might be.